I am finally seeing everything for myself. For so long, I allowed the voices of other people to become louder than the quiet truth that was living inside my own heart. I believed stories that were carefully created to pull me away from you. I accepted opinions from people who never understood what we shared because I assumed they had my best interests at heart. Now I can clearly see that many of those words were never meant to protect me. They were meant to separate us. Looking back, I realize how easily fear can disguise itself as wisdom. People came to me pretending they wanted to help, pretending they wanted to save me from disappointment, pretending they cared about my future. Every conversation planted another small seed of doubt. Every warning made me question what I had once felt so naturally. Little by little, I stopped listening to my own intuition and started trusting the noise around me. The hardest part is admitting that I gave strangers more authority over my heart than I gave myself. I allowed outside opinions to become my reality without ever asking whether those opinions were rooted in honesty or hidden agendas. Some people smiled while quietly celebrating every misunderstanding between us. They encouraged distance because distance served their own purposes. They wanted confusion where there should have been clarity. They wanted silence where there should have been honest conversation. I never imagined that people could become so invested in breaking something beautiful simply because they could not understand it. Some were jealous of the connection we shared. Others were uncomfortable because they could not control it. A few simply enjoyed creating conflict wherever they went. Whatever their reasons were, I became the one who carried the consequences of believing them. Today I carry a different perspective. I am no longer looking through borrowed eyes. I am finally seeing with my own. The pieces that once seemed scattered are beginning to fit together in ways I never expected. Conversations that confused me now make sense. Actions that seemed random now reveal hidden intentions. The truth has a remarkable way of revealing itself when enough time passes. I remember moments when something inside me quietly whispered that the situation did not feel right. I ignored those feelings because I thought trusting others made me wise. Instead, I abandoned my own discernment. I confused kindness with obedience. I confused caution with fear. Most of all, I confused other people's certainty with truth. Now I understand that people can sound convincing while still being completely wrong. Confidence does not equal honesty. Repetition does not create truth. Just because many voices repeat the same story does not mean the story is real. I learned that lesson through pain, through distance, and through countless nights of questioning everything. If I could revisit those moments, I would choose differently. I would ask more questions. I would seek direct conversations instead of believing second-hand opinions. I would trust my heart before trusting rumors. I would remember that people who genuinely care about someone encourage understanding instead of division. There were days when I convinced myself that walking away was the responsible choice. I believed that distance would bring peace. Instead, distance created emptiness. Silence answered none of my questions. It only gave room for more assumptions to grow. Every unanswered question became another opportunity for fear to invent its own version of reality. The strange thing about truth is that it never disappears. It waits patiently beneath every misunderstanding until someone is finally willing to uncover it. That is exactly what has been happening inside me. The more honestly I examine the past, the more clearly I recognize where everything began to unravel. It was not because our connection lacked value. It was because too many people were determined to convince me that it did. I regret allowing insecurity to make decisions that confidence should have made. I regret believing temporary emotions instead of lasting feelings. Most of all, I regret underestimating what we truly meant to each other. Growth often begins with uncomfortable honesty. I cannot move forward while pretending I made no mistakes. I did make mistakes. I listened to voices that had no place guiding my future. I ignored the quiet wisdom inside myself. I accepted explanations that never fully matched what I experienced with you. That realization has changed me. I no longer feel the need to defend every decision I made because I now understand that growth requires humility. Admitting I was wrong does not weaken me. It strengthens me. It allows me to become someone who learns instead of someone who endlessly repeats the same patterns. I also recognize that healing cannot happen overnight. Trust, once shaken, requires patience. Understanding requires time. Honest conversations require courage from both sides. Nothing meaningful is built through shortcuts. Everything worthwhile grows through consistency, honesty, and genuine effort. As I continue reflecting, I notice something remarkable. Every lesson has made my vision clearer. Every painful memory has removed another layer of illusion. Every difficult realization has brought me closer to understanding what truly mattered all along. I no longer want to live according to other people's expectations. Their opinions belong to them, not to me. My life should never be directed by individuals who are more interested in controlling outcomes than encouraging truth. Their influence ends where my own awareness begins. Today I choose awareness over assumption. I choose honesty over appearances. I choose direct communication over gossip. I choose understanding over fear. Those choices may seem simple, but they have taken me a long time to embrace. There is a peace that comes from finally seeing reality without distortion. It does not erase the past, but it transforms how I understand it. Instead of carrying resentment, I carry wisdom. Instead of replaying every mistake with shame, I examine each lesson with gratitude. Every experience has shaped the person I am becoming. I know there are still conversations waiting to happen. There are truths that deserve to be spoken openly instead of remaining hidden beneath years of silence. There are questions that deserve real answers rather than assumptions created by outsiders. Those conversations may not be easy, but they are necessary. One thing has become undeniable. What I once believed was certainty was often someone else's fear projected onto my life. What I accepted as protection was sometimes manipulation disguised as concern. What I considered wisdom was occasionally nothing more than another person's unresolved pain speaking through advice they were never qualified to give. I refused to continue carrying beliefs that were never truly mine. I am reclaiming my own judgment, my own voice, and my own ability to recognize authenticity when it stands before me. That journey is not about blaming others forever. It is about finally becoming honest with myself. I see now that truth has been patiently waiting for me all along. It never demanded my attention. It simply remained steady until I was finally willing to open my eyes. Now that I have, I cannot pretend I do not recognize what is real anymore.